Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
Here with Mark Chapman of the Chapman Brothers Racing Team and Michelle Dolan. Michelle, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
For our regular listeners, our regulars, they'll know who we're talking to. They'll know exactly who we're talking to. But for those that aren't so regular, explain, you race in top Doorslammer here in Western Australia and compete nationally as well this year and last year as well. Did you?
Yeah, I went a few rounds. Went to Alice Springs.
Yep. It's a great event up there that they do over there. But tell us a bit, Doorslammer. It's based on a Doorslammer, a car with opening and closing doors.
Correct. Yep.
In Australia, supercharged.
Yep.
Just explain a bit your particular car.
Well, the chassis all have to be made of 4140, the chrome moly.
Yep.
They have a weight limit on them, and it's depending on the size of the engine. So with that 521 in our vehicle, so the weight on that is 2735 in pounds.
Yep.
And the overdrive is maximum of 108 on a screw blower, on a D rotor blower.
Yeah, okay. Yep. So tell us a bit about that. That's Plymouth Fury, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Plymouth Fury based on that. Yeah, it's a 59 plate.
Yep.
But there's in the rules you can, there's an angle for the window that you can meet, and you can shorten the car a bit and lower it, obviously. And so there's things that they did, and the guys that make those bodies trim those bodies to those sizes.
Yeah.
So,
It's a beautiful looking car. But for those regular listeners as well, tell us a bit about your history, because I remember you guys campaigning the Mustang way back in Ravenswood days.
Well, yeah, we bought that chassis. It was a Holston kit chassis, and I bought a Mustang 67 fastback in pieces, basically, the junkyard in Arizona. And Gary and I and another guy called Boris Pacey, Carl Pacey.
Yes.
All three of us made that car up. He made all the moulds because he's fiberglass skill, and that's how that came around. We've still got that vehicle. We brought it out to race the Americans.
Street Outlaws, yeah.
Outlaws. But I broke a piston in it, so we tuned it up a bit because it was always a little bit lame. So when we bought that Elky Pro from Greg Gower, we use it with the big car, but for the Mustang, we'd never had that sophistication, so it was just like a bit of a guess, but it was a bit lean. So we had we used to have only a 110 pump on that, so which is the Enderley pump, fuel pump.
Yep.
So that car now has got the Mustang's got a 990 on it. So when we did all the figures, it was a bit lean. So when we changed the jetting and that, even when we started it up back at the shop, it was like I could hear it had a bit more power, and it just munted the piston. It pulled the gudgeon pin out of it, because they were basically just Chevy forgings, JE things. They're fine, but they're a little bit light on, a bit thin, So,
But by lame, he's saying it was still running a 7-second pass. But compared to what he's used to now, 5.82s and whatnot, it's considered lame.
Well, the best we've done in that is 582, and the air was good that day and the car was going good. We've changed that one a bit now. It's not running as good, just but we haven't got the ratio and the diff right and a few other little things. But we ran it all season just to see how... We used to have a lighter weight diff in it, and it would blow up all the time. So we've got that Mark Williams 11-inch in it now, which is absolutely great. So, Anyway, I'll stop waffling and I'll let you guys
No. I enjoy the waffle.
Sorry, Nick, just the body of the one built behind, is that built here?
It's built by Anderson. Murray Anderson in Melbourne made them. He made, there's three or four of them. There's Peter Kapiris has got the same body. It's out the same mould. Jeff Grattens has one in Sydney, and there's another one that's been built. Well, Murray has sold it, and it's just gone wherever. The guy's never completed it, so I don't know where that is.
But we're the only Fury. The other two are
Saratogas.
Yeah, we called ours a Fury because when we did the stickering and the paint, we just put the few extra body moulds on it, because all those bodies are built by the same company, and then the different, like Plymouth would get it and they would put a different, chrome moulding on it here and that. So that's what we did.
Oh. Yeah. I was going to say, I didn't even know you had the Mustang. You talked about it. I had to ask you before. The only reason why I knew you still had it was when you did your video.
Oh yeah.
At the call out.
The
call out video. I said
for Jeff.
No.
Oh, they've still got the Mustang. I didn't even know.
Jeff likes that video. He told me down the drags a couple of times. So that's the best one he's ever had. But John wanted to race him anyway, so it was more appropriate anyway. We just did that just for the hell of it. But John was more in the speed for what that car could do. Apparently, when he tested that, he ran a 5.88 or something like that. So the Mustang was outclassed. But
for its time,
it's a show. That show anyway.
It's
not so much racing. It's a.
I wrote an article on the website and I said I went to a drag race. No, sorry, I said I went to watch the filming of a TV show and a drag race broke out.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's what that is. But I mean, we all went there on that as well. I know Johnny, you went there with that.
The Americans warned us of that, and I said, right, BS. But when I was there, I looked around at all the crowd, and there was only a couple of people there I knew. So they were there, fans of the show. So they're right. I was wrong.
That's right. Yeah. No,
so,
cool. It's definitely it's good. Good little show. Tell us this season, how did you? I know in WA you finished 4th. Things didn't go to plan at the last meet, so
I went in the dirt. The chutes. It was a bit of a wet day, but the people have been saying, the chutes must have been packed moist, but they were dry. I don't know why they came out, obviously, because they're in their little pilot chute. Yeah. They're the Stroud version, so the spring's on the back of the car.
Yep.
And the canvas bag, they just didn't come out of it. First time ever, so I still don't know. If there's any experts out there, they might be able to let me know.
Get listening in. Contact,
please.
Yes, that'd be great. Michelle, tell us a bit about yourself as well, because I know you're an integral part to this team now, because a lot of the guys know the car and Mark, but also know you as well, because you've become an integral part of the team. So tell us a bit about you, what you do there as well.
Well, I've been a part of Chapman Brothers Racing since 2008. And it all started, I used to sell Mark speed flow fittings for the Mustang when they were building that, and Mark invited me down one time, so I kind of
invited yourself down, if I remember right.
Yeah, well that, so scabbed up a t-shirt and just never left.
We've tried to get rid of it a few times, but
it doesn't work.
No, you've become part of the team. I mean, I think people associate the car with you as well, and Mark, and of course Gary as well, who didn't. He's standing off over there.
He's talking to Scotty Tolt.
He didn't want to be interviewed. But no, I think what you guys do and created a bit of a brand for yourselves as well, because what people don't understand in WA, you are arguably racing against the best Doorslammers in the world, because we got John Zappia that lives here just down the road. We got Daniel Gregorini, who's
around the corner,
literally around the corner from us here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And
getting to John, he, like at the end of the day, he's the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the Yanks will have a hard time beating him. So.
Yep.
So it's good from that point of view.
Yeah.
You always learn something, when you race against him.
No, that's right. I mean, and Doorslammer is that kind of a bit different to Pro Mod as well. It's not.
Well, the Pro Mod's really lighter, and the blower is a roots blower fundamentally, and so it's slightly different. The Yanks, the cars are a bit biased differently. The weight, the way they weigh the car, a bit lighter on here and there, and they're always fiddling around with them, and they've all basically got those converter come 5-speed gearboxes in them. So
that's right. Yeah. So fundamentally, we can't really compare you guys to them as well. So
they're a lot lighter.
Yeah.
We've just tried to more so. We like to be an approachable team. Obviously, if you follow our team, I do the outfits and whatnot, and just try and bring a bit more of a family thing around it, you know what I mean? And as I said, we're quite approachable. Like Mark will have a laugh with anybody.
Yeah.
I love involving the kids in it, because at the end of the day, drag racing needs fresh blood injected into it.
Yep.
you need to get the kids involved. So that's why a big part of what I do, and try and promote it from my perspective for Mark and Gary to get the team's name out there.
Yeah.
Just to encourage new people in, because I don't come from a drag racing background. I'm from Kalgoorlie. And I've kind of made this myself, but Mark and Gary have given me this wonderful opportunity to kind of just run wild with my ideas, and everything I do, is for the better of the team and to get our name out there and to encourage other people that you don't need to have a drag racing background to be involved in it.
Yeah, that's right. Most certainly, and that's the thing I find with drag racing as well. It's an all-encompassing sort of sport. We do drag a lot of people in that haven't necessarily had the background. I mean, myself, I've never competed myself, but I've been following the sport since the early 90s. Yep. From when I could drive down the track, I could, and I went down there. But I still feel part of the sport, because even though I've never competed myself, I feel part of the sport.
Feel involved.
Yeah, and that's what drag racing does.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing as well is also encouraging people that you don't have to be able to afford a car to be involved.
Yep.
So, I've never driven a race car. Like, I've taken a street car down the track, but, you just create a brand, you know what I mean? And I love supporting Mark and Gary, and, Mark, in my eyes, is the best driver on that track, but bias a slight bit. But you know what I mean. Like, we have a really good thing going.
By a country mile, or
we'll talk about that later. But it's a really good thing, and I think people really need to understand that people are accepting of bringing people in that don't have the background. So I hope there's a lot of new, fresh faces that get involved in it.
Definitely. Don't play yourself down, Mark. I've seen that car with my own eyes on one wheel. Driving down the track on one wheel
many times.
So for people that don't understand that, go back on YouTube. go on YouTube some videos. I can, these cars sometimes get up on one wheel and still make their way down the track. So I think what you do is magnificent. I think what all the Doorslammer guys in WA do.
They're all good.
Daniel, and now we're seeing Lisa come into the sport as well, running consistent 6.0s. I don't think she cracked into the 5s.
No, not yet.
Close.
She was very, very close.
Yep. So. Yeah, we're seeing some great things in Doorslammer. Talk us a bit through Penrite as well, because we're here at the Penrite night tonight. So talk us through... we saw Penrite's association in drag racing go way back to John Zappia.
Yeah, started with John, Yeah, he when he was at Southside, or affiliated with Graham and Lloyd, they only used the Penrite oil down there, and that's where that came from. And so that was a good start. Yep. So they developed the 4070 for John. So Yep.
But we've been quite lucky. We've when Mark and Gary first rang out the Mustang, Penrite have sponsored us since day dot. So we've been pretty fortunate and very grateful for what they've done for us, and they continue to stand by our side as
Well, we just bumped into Morton, and he basically had a look and he went, "Well, do you guys want oil?" And I went, and it was just as simple as that.
People think that that's cheap sponsorship. It's actually not. That stuff, especially the stuff that you guys are running.
Yeah, well, that synthetic oil, that 10/10 range that they've got, it's an expensive additive to make that. That crack, the way they crack that, the hydro crack, and the PAO additive is in it. So it's an expensive oil to make. And it's good. It takes the methanol too. So some oils can't mix with the methanol. It will separates, but that not a problem.
That's another thing that's quite important, like, because you're on the edge, you guys, and like sometimes you are getting a heap of methanol in the oil. You got to drop the oil out, and
it's right. It's for full mechanical injections, not electronic. So you are pumping a lot in at idle as well, because you've got to keep it relative. You've got to, when you go to the start line, you want to have the head temperature at a certain temperature. You know what I mean? You don't want it too cold, and you don't want it too hot. So.
That's the other thing. A lot of people wouldn't understand that. They probably think these cars are EFI. You've got some laptop there and do some Fast and the Furious sort of Fast and the Furious tune-up.
Well,
no, it's certainly not.
If they were electronic, you could keep the oil a lot cleaner.
Mark, It's great having you here, Michelle. Same.
you. Pleasure.
Great to have you on the podcast. I
No
think
problems.
one day we should try and get out to the workshop and do a little bit more in detail, because we've only done 14 minutes, and I think you guys really need a lot longer than that. So we'll try and get out to the workshop one day, maybe or if you can come into the studio as well, whatever suits you.
Yeah, not a
and maybe
problem.
we can grab Gary as well.
Yeah,
perhaps.
if you get him waffling, he won't stop. So
How long you got?
I feel like if we went to the workshop, he might be more.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's. a
He's
good
really
idea.
Is at
the
home?
brains behind everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's a smart cookie.
That's the thing with Doorslammer racing. You've got to be super smart, and you've got to know what you're doing. Like I told you before off air, crewed with Simon for a year or two, and I just couldn't do it because it's beyond me. You know what I mean? And you've
it's
got
a
to know
lot
what
of
you're doing.
work. You got to be there all the time thinking about it, even when
Yeah.
you're on the can.
Yeah.
Saying, I've got to do that.
Well, you got the
Well, it's
can.
true, isn't it?
You got the can right at the start line now, pretty
You
much.
do your best thinking, isn't it?
Exactly.
Sure don't think about race cars, let me tell you.
All right.
All
Look,
right.
thanks for your time and coming on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
No
Thanks so
problems
much.
All
anytime.
right, take care.
Okay.